Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing another episode of Indy Gear. We're almost done with these. We just have this one and one more. If I've missed one, please let me know. But today we're going to be talking about the gun. The actual gun that he uses in the films. Obviously that gun varies from film to film and can even vary from scene to scene. A lot of my other YouTube videos, especially my Indiana Jones gun series, for those that have watched that, I get a lot of flack from people saying, that's not the gun he used this gun, or he used this gun, or it's the wrong caliber, or blah 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 blah. So what I've done for this video is I've taken what's on the internet firearms database, and that's what we're going to go with for this video. Disagree if you like. Honestly, I do, but we'll just go with that, and then I'm going to show you what you can get for a cosplay that will do. Or you can go out and get the real thing. We're even going to talk about that too. You basically got three options if you want an Indy gun. You can get the real one, you can get a resin one, or you can get an airsoft one. And we're going to cover all three of those today. Generally in these videos I go from, you know, the cheapest thing to the most expensive and then say what I got and why. We're not going to do that today. You basically have just a handful of options for all these guns, and yeah, not very many choices as far as price-wise goes. So we're just going to go through the films and discuss what the guns are. And then we're going to talk about where to get them and what you should get and why. First of all, let's talk about the real guns. 99% of you out there do not need a real Indiana Jones gun. You're not going to be able to take it to a con with you. You're not going to be able to take it to charity events. The only place you're going to be able to take it is probably out in the woods somewhere. And technically, you need to have a permit to do that. At least you do here in Oregon, in the United States. So that really limits what you can do with a real one. I carry a real one fairly regularly. Number one, because I have a permit, and I can do that. And for those of you that watch the gun videos on this channel, you know that protecting yourself and protecting the people around you is a priority for me. So I do occasionally carry my real Indy gun when I can get away with it. That's really the only time you're going to want to deal with a real Indy gun. For cons, you're either going to want to go with the airsoft or a resin. And a lot of cons these days are even cracking down on the airsoft guns. So it really kind of depends on where you live, what you're going to be using the cosplay for, and, you know, what the rules are for the cons that are in your area. So, me personally, I do the airsoft. I used to have the resin one, and I just had to keep repainting it and repainting it and repainting it, because every time you take it in and out of the holster, the paint starts to rub off, and eventually you're going to have to repaint it. And I wear my Indy gear a lot, so I was repainting that gun every couple of months, and it just got aggravating. And I couldn't use it for the movie that I've made because it had no moving parts. So I eventually got rid of that one and got the airsoft one, and I love the airsoft one. But we'll get into that. So let's get started. I've got my little list here. I did a whole bunch of research on this before I made this video because it's been ages since I bought any of this stuff. So I just kind of wanted to poke around and see what was out there and what the options were for you. So, we will start with Raiders. Raiders and Temple essentially use the same gun. There are some minor differences, but for the most part they look pretty much the same. Most of the scenes in Raiders were shot with a Smith & Wesson 1917 45 ACP, according to the website I looked at. The ones in Temple were shot with Colt Official Police in 38 Special. Apparently that information has just recently been updated based on some further research and being able to look at the Blu-rays and in high def and all that good stuff. for those of you that have seen my my Indy gun series, I actually had a Colt Official Police for a while in .38, and the only reason my Smith & Wesson Model 10 beat it is because it shot better at the range. That was the only reason. The one I have looks a lot like the 1917, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So, if you want a real 1917 gun from Raiders of the Lost Ark, you can get one on gunbroker.com. I searched around on gunbroker.com to get my prices for these. And you can get one for somewhere around $1,000. For most people, that's going to be way too much money. And like I mentioned earlier, the practicality of carrying a real Indy gun with you is very limited. So I would strongly advise against that. The other option is a resin one. Now, there's only one resin replica out there that I know of that works for both Raiders and Temple. And it's modeled after the Smith & Wesson version. You can get it at hanzoswords.com, and it's about $70. You can also get one on Etsy that's already assembled and painted and everything and looks all fancy schmancy for about $110. The resin kit that I put together, it was really, really easy. There's like 4 or 5 pieces. You glue them together, you paint the thing, you're done. So it's really a question of, do you want to save $30 or $40 to paint the thing yourself? I will leave that up to you. The airsoft gun that I found that works for both Raiders and Temple is the HFC 357. Now, the only one I could find that looks the part was on eBay. There are a couple other ones on there. Either the barrel's too long, or the sight on it is too modern, or it's stainless instead of blued, or something like that. I looked at a whole bunch of different sites. The only one I could find that looked good was on eBay. And here is mine. This is what I have used for my fan film. This is what I carry with me to cons, charity events. This gun basically goes with me anywhere that a real gun is not allowed. I have gotten a ton of use out of this thing. I only paid $35 for it. It is now $50, because like I said, this is a while ago, but it is still on eBay. So if you just look up the, what did I say, the HFC 357, this gun will pop up. Now there's a couple of things. The one on eBay, when you first buy it, when you see the picture, it's going to have a big little, like a black handle section right here on the grip. That thing is plastic, and all you got to do is pull it off. It's really, really easy. This thing is also completely metal, other than the grips, which are plastic. So it's got some really nice heft to it. I love, love, love this gun. And then obviously, for you sticklers out there, you're going to want to cut the orange tip off of it and paint it. Just the tip. I went one step further and put the lanyard loop on it. This did not come with the gun. I got this thing off of Amazon for like $4, and then just drilled a little hole in the bottom and glued it in there. So it doesn't move. It can't move from side to side. It can move this way, but that's it. But it's still a really, really nice piece for $50. Another nice thing about it is it's got the side load system, just like the real gun has, and it comes with these 6 shells, which also look really nice. Now, if you pull them out, let's see if I can grab one here. I don't have any fingernails, so okay, yeah. When you pull it out, it doesn't look like a real bullet. But I actually used these for a few scenes in the film, and it turned out great. You don't really notice it at a distance that this isn't a real bullet. And when you've got it in there, and you're spinning the wheel, I mean, it looks great. In my opinion, this is the best gun you can get on the market for an Indiana Jones prop gun from the first 2 films. Another nice thing about it, it's got moving parts. It's got single action, and it fires in double action, which worked out really, really good for my film. It looked like a real gun, like I was firing a real gun, and I fire this quite a few times in the movie. We'll be discussing the movie here probably within the next couple months after I get through this series, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, best gun you can get for the money for an Indiana Jones prop, the HFC 357. So with that out of the way, I guess I should go ahead and show you my real gun as well. For those of you that have watched my Indiana Jones gun series, this is the gun that won out. This is a Smith & Wesson Model 10 in 38 Special. Now, everyone's been giving me hell because I got it in 38 Special, and that's not accurate to the movies because, you know, in the movies he shot a 45, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to spend $1 a round to shoot 45s out of this thing. 38 Special is really, really cheap. It's an effective round for those of you that want to carry to protect yourselves or whatever. And this gun I got off of gunbroker.com for only $300. And it looks great. Now when I got it, it didn't look like this. It was used quite a bit. This had been a duty gun from the 70s. And it had a lot of holster wear around it and everything. I did a rebluing video on it that's also on my YouTube channel if you want to see how I made it look all nice and new again. A lot of people would say, well, Indy's gun is supposed to look worn. It's like, yes, it is, but I'm going to be the one who wears it out. I'm not going to get one that somebody else wore and just go off of what they did. This gun is going to be worn from me using it. End of story. I also did add the lanyard ring to it. Getting an actual Smith & Wesson lanyard ring was expensive. This little ring right here was like $50. But I really, really wanted it to have the ring. So I went ahead and added that on there. Now I did not drill a hole in this gun because the serial number is on the bottom of the gun and you certainly don't want to be drilling into that. So what I did was I basically just cut that section off, the part that's supposed to screw into the end of the gun. I just cut it off and then glued it on there. So no harm, no foul. But again, this one can't move just like the other one can't, only in this direction. But once again, it looks really nice and it looks the part. And I love this thing. Now I've also got some snap cap rounds in here. For people that don't know what those are, you can get these off eBay for just a few dollars. And this actually does look like a real bullet, but as you can see from the back, it's got no gunpowder, no nothing. So all you got to do is put it into the gun, and you can shoot all day long. I also added a special trigger in this gun to make it shoot even better. So for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing, you can check out my series on Indy guns and just look up the ones on the Smith & Wesson Model 10, which ultimately won out against several other competitors. Anyway, these right now are the only two Indy guns that I own. I have been seriously thinking about getting the Webley. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Because I'm planning on making another film here pretty soon, and it's going to have Indy's dad in it. So it just kind of seems like I should probably be using the gun used from The Last Crusade if I'm going to make that movie. So, back to the list. One more thing about these guns as far as the first two movies go. You can get Occult Official Police off of gunbroker.com if you want that gun instead of the Smith & Wesson. That one is about half the price of the 1917. I picked mine up for only about $270, but based on what I found today, you're probably going to be spending a little bit more. Most of the ones that I found were either in a bid war, or you could buy them for somewhere around $600. So just something to keep in mind if you want to get the real gun. I don't think a whole lot of people are going to be doing that, but I do want to cover that in this video. So moving on. Last Crusade and the Crystal Skull both used the same gun, according to the website that I looked at. They say it was the Webley WG Army model in 455 Webley. Most people are going to say it's the Webley MK4. That's been the one they've been saying was used for years and years and years. I'm not sure why the Internet Firearms Database said otherwise. Maybe there have been some more research done since then. I don't know. Based on the screenshots that were on that website, it does look like the WG model. So, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to get an MK4, it's a great gun. Looks the part. No complaints from me. And that gun might actually be a little bit less. This one, if you want the real deal, once again, $1,500 Not something I would recommend. The resin one on hanzoswords.com was still only $70. And the Etsy one was also the same, about $110, $120 for the painted, completed version. So if you're going with a resin model, you're paying the exact same amount, regardless of which gun you want. So that's a good thing. The airsoft version, there is no airsoft version of the WG that I could find based on my research today. There is a couple of very nice airsoft versions of the MK4, so that's what I'd go with. They're also about $100. Now, like this one, they're going to be all metal. They'll come with the bullets. They'll have moving parts. I mean, it's basically going to be just like this gun. It's just going to be the Webley model instead. I am seriously thinking about getting that gun for my next film. But I'm still in the process of writing the script because I haven't had time to write the script. It's already written up here, but I haven't been able to put pen to paper because I'm busy editing the last film that I shot already. So, don't know how long it's going to be before we actually get that one underway, but I've got lots of time to think about whether I want to buy that gun or not. So anyway, those are the main options. I would strongly suggest, just based on what I've seen, to get the airsoft ones. They're fantastic, they're metal, they have nice heft, you don't have to worry about repainting them and repainting them and repainting them. And, you know, if you're going with Raiders or Temple, it's less money anyway. But, you know, I know that there are some places out there where people really want to go to the cons wearing their Indy gear, and you may or may not be able to get the airsoft gun in there. That, in my opinion, is the only reason that you should buy the resin one, is if you're going to a con and they don't allow airsoft guns. If you're not worried about that, get the airsoft version. They're awesome. You will not be sorry. Other than that, get the real one and have fun running around in the woods. Just make sure that you're doing it legally. Don't get me in trouble. So anyway, that's going to be it for this one. We only have one more video, and it's going to be belts and straps. I believe that is it. If there's a piece of Indy gear that I haven't covered that you want me to cover, we can do that. I already did a video on all the props, so I'm not really going to mess around with that anymore. When I'm done with that one, we're going to start talking about what you guys want to see as far as my work on the movie is concerned. There's a lot to talk about there, so we'll save that for another film. But yeah, more good stuff coming your way. So stay tuned, and as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.